he was named in the lawsuit of Gabby Walls, and the guardians are nowhere for Gabby Walls. I haven't heard them put out a statement, right? Believe all women unless it's Eric Adams and any of his crew that are accusing them, right? That's the note that I got from the Adams administration is like, believe all women except if it's us, and your body, your choice, unless I tell you to do something, and so like I see the total hypocrisy, but people are like, oh, they're going after Henderson because he helped this girl out and her mom was sick and she had cancer and she screwed Henderson. And, there's something, if you watch right now you're watching the Finest Unfiltered, where the New York Post, the Daily News, New York Times, they all go get to their news for the NYPD because Marlon had told you about that 3 weeks prior to it all happening, right? And, and so now they're playing that Henderson, who's the chief of Brooklyn North, is the victim because he let a girl stay home, collect overtime while her mother was out with cancer, and then supposedly let her stay 7-month past working home.
Flashback.
Rumor is Chief Henderson's been told, you're out of here. You got to go. And the reason why, is because there's a cop who's, so her mother was a very prominent person in the A3 Council, right? Community Council. Chief Henderson allowed that cop to work for close to a year at home, close to a year accruing overtime, not even punching in at work, not coming to the office, right? To stay at home and take care of her mom. Now, the problem is her mom passed away in December, and the cop came back to work and was still told by chief, you go home, go home and work from home. Now, the problem is somebody
overtime too? You said overtime too?
Yeah, overtime.
Overtime from home. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Any promotions?
No promotions, but that cop made a ton of overtime at home.
What was going on?
And you think that kid shouldn't get a detective shield, Marlon? Come on, bro.
That's exactly why I'm bringing it up now. I thought to myself, wait a second, I'm a little off on that. We're giving out shields and overtime for people who are working at home. And here's what pissed me off about hearing about that incident, right? That cop, this first happened in 2023, right? So
2 years ago.
Yeah. So here's the thing. While the job told us you get the job or get out of here, right? In my case, I was already suspended 3 months. I was at home. I wasn't a danger to anybody, right? The job told me you still got to get the job or you're fired, Get the job while you're fired. You're a danger to people. You're home. But here it is. We have a situation where this cop was allowed to be home for close to 1 year, while working overtime, so now somebody dropped a dime, and chief had to go talk to Group 1, and he lied to Group 1, about his involvement in it, and he's trying to throw the cop under the bus right now, right? The cop got the okay from him. He's trying to throw the cop under the bus, and even worse, he's trying to pressure that cop now to accept the punishment, and that punishment is 1 year. They can no longer retire, right? They have to give back over 100 and close to $150,000 of overtime of pay. So the thing is, this infuriated me because this cuts to the heart of the problem with the job right now. And you told that cop they can go home and work from home. So now you got to take responsibility when things go sideways, and you're not. You're trying to throw the cop under the bus so that you can walk out with a good record.
Wait. You think Henderson's going to hang and not some sergeant or his ICO or somebody else that signed off on her overtime? Because I think those people are going to burn too. I think they're going to burn too for following Henderson's orders, who, by the way, is good friends with certain mayor that you guys are all begging for, Eric Adams. More crumbs. And, I just think, and on the other end of it, you got fired. I got forced out. We all couldn't work from home, but some people did work from home. Some people did. And then the other thing is, right before COVID, my father was dying in hospice. Everybody knew it. I was working 15-hour days, bro. And then I was driving all the way out to like North Jersey to the VA hospital there because that's where he wanted to be. I didn't want him there. I wanted him to be in like a nice hospice, but he wanted to be in the VA because he earned it. Like, and he's like, they're giving it to me for free. I'm like, yeah, but it's horrible, And I would go right from work every day. I would do crazy hours and then sit with him, and I'd go back to work. And I'd sit with him and go back to work, and I'd sit with him and I'd go back to work, and I'd sit with him and I'd go back to work. And I did that for a while, dude. And it really wore me down, and it took a huge toll on me. And, and to hear like, there's guys with sick kids, there's guys with sick wives, and they don't get to do that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? There's guys that are sick and injured themselves, and they don't get to do that.
Yeah.
And then to hear that happen, I mean, again, it's disgusting.
From my experience, a man is not staying home for over a year in that position. Absolutely not. And especially what we see going on right now. But it really does hone in that these chiefs have far too much power. Far too much power. So when you give the keys to the car to someone that's going to drive reckless, this is your byproduct right here. Right? You don't want to give a kid a keys to a car. If you had a kid and you had a Ferrari and your kid didn't have the maturity level and they didn't understand and respect that car, you wouldn't give them the keys to it. But yet we have people that don't respect women. We have people that don't respect the public. We have people that don't respect themselves. They don't respect the profession. They don't respect their police commissioner, Jessica Tisch. And we gave them keys to that car. And this is the byproduct. And that's why this job is out of control. And that's why it's a major problem. Weak men cause hard times with the NYPD, and embarrassing times.
If I can quickly, John, you guys should be even more angry about this. You guys who are watching, I'll tell you why. During the scamdemic, there were women who were pregnant who needed that time. Okay, who could have used that time off so that they could have given birth to their children without having to take that medical experiment. Were they given? Did the department give that accommodation to them? No, it told them get the shot or you're fired. Okay, so this is what really gets me about this thing. I mean, me and John could have used that time off. Instead, you told us get the shot or we're out of here. Okay, so those of you thinking, okay, the chief he could have done that, he was helping out. No, it's not fair. And if they have this ability, then this, other people who especially needed it during that time should have been given that accommodation to, and they weren't.
Yeah, and so Ralph's here, right? Like Ralph's talking. He's like, I carried a detective on the roll call for 3 weeks while his newborn son was in danger of dying in the hospital. I signed him in present from duty from the hospital every day. No overtime. So here's the difference, though, Ralph. One, you weren't giving him overtime; you were just taking care of him, and you knew where he was, you knew what he was doing. You were helping him out. That's leadership. But now, if somebody would have questioned you, you would have said, "I signed him in. I took care of it. I did this. I did that." Right, and that's leadership, right? You would have jumped right in front of him. No. I told him to do that. His son's dying. Yeah, I did that for my guys. And that's the leadership that I was brought up under. I was brought up under leadership by men. I was brought up under leadership that earned their positions. I was brought up to have integrity. I was taught to get in front of your people. But what I watched from the NYPD chief of department is, I didn't sign those overtime slips. It's like, wait, oh, so you were just banging her, but you didn't sign those overtime slips. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So you didn't have any. No. He didn't know what was happening in his office. He's just running the whole job, but he didn't know about the 20 people in his office. Like, oh, okay. And then when you watch with Henderson, it's like, oh, I didn't know she was still staying home. I didn't tell her to stay home. It's like, really, bro? You didn't? And it's disgraceful. It's honestly, it's disgraceful leadership because it's not leadership. It's cowardice. And again, why are they in that position? Like I always liked Jeff Madry. I thought he was a nice guy. But I'll tell you a story. I used to get sent to the platoon commander meeting when I was a young sergeant because I didn't have a platoon commander. Right? I didn't have a lieutenant. So they would send me to the platoon commander meeting. The inspector would be up there stuttering, talking about whatever. This is what's going on. We need to do this. The chief said this. Whatever it was. I forget the guy's name, but he would be up there stuttering, bald white guy, Brooklyn South. And here's Jeff Madry. And I'm like, why are we here? Here's a 1-star chief sleeping in this meeting. I'm like, why am I here? Like, this is ridiculous. This is like ridiculous. This is the stupid. Like, and he's like sleeping, and like could care less about what was happening on the job. And then, you know, and that's the thing, nice guy, but work ethic wise, I mean, should he have been promoted? Ever been promoted to chief of department? I don't think so. I mean, anytime I ever seen him, it was nothing to do with work, you know. And if he was there, he was kind of like a voice of reason, and people liked him, and he got along with the community. But as far as like the overall mission of the NYPD, no. And then you saw it clear as day, and that's the result. Oh, I didn't sign those overtime slips. He did. Like, oh, wow, leader of men, highest uniform member of the service in the department.
So Scott Henderson, you know, he's already facing allegations from Captain Gabby Walls, who's black, by the way. And like we've said before, this guy might as well be Scott Madry, you know, because in a lot of ways he's like his mentor, you know, Jeffrey Madry. So he's already costing the city money. He's an embarrassment, and again, he's not helping it. His presence doesn't help any black cops. But this guy was his ego is so big that he wanted a walkout, and Tisch apparently blocked him from having a walkout. But right, he now goes to this. The rumor is he went to the 7-9 precinct and still had a small walkout. Okay, which is kind of crazy that the PC, the boss, okay, tells you no, you can't do it, and you find some way to go and do it anyway. Okay, which to me is crazy. Even you may say, oh, it's just a walkout, but no, it's not about that. It's because can you imagine people doing this under Ray Kelly? You know, Ray Kelly told you not to do it, and then you go do it anyway, right? It's absurd, you know, and it just goes to show you how much they're trying to undermine Tisch.
You've just watched a clip from our live episode. Click the description to watch the full episode. Like, share, and subscribe for more videos just like this.